One thing I've discovered over the years that I've been coaching hundreds of people with social anxiety is that some people have social anxiety for a particular reason, and it's not the reason that you would think. What I've seen with many people is that the reason they have social anxiety, and this does not apply to everybody, by the way, this is only a certain subset of sufferers, but the reason that many people have social anxiety is actually because they're extremely sensitive and extremely empathic people. And I don't mean sensitive in a negative way. Especially for a man, the idea that you are sensitive is often seen as a bit of a slur, like you're feminine, like you're weak, like you're too emotional, something like that. And this was very true for me. As a kid, I was always gaslit growing up that I was being overly sensitive, but actually I could read exactly what was going on, and that's why I was often very uncomfortable in social situations, because I could see the games that people were playing. I could see the ulterior motives that people had, and if you're watching this, I'm guessing that you can too. And that's often why we feel anxiety, because we can see too clearly what is going on, and we don't just see it, we feel it very deeply in our body on a visceral level. So instead of saying that someone is sensitive or overly sensitive, I like to say that people are very energetically attuned. You're just very attuned and empathic to what is going on around you. And what often happens is if you're in a room and there's a lot of people in there, there's a lot of different energies, and this can actually become totally overwhelming for you, especially if you're more introverted as well. And it's like having all of this information or all of this energy just gushing into you from so many different directions, and it just causes a sensory overload for a lot of people. And that is why you'll find that you need to leave parties early, you need to go back, and you need to find some time to yourself just to rest and regroup, because it's just too much to take in. And a lot of people are just not aware of this at all. I would often walk away from a social event and feel very unsettled, and I would speak to people that I've been there with and say, didn't you think that was weird, the way that guy was with his wife, but he was really showing off and trying to compete with the other guy, and that guy's wife obviously didn't like it, but you could see the wife of the other guy also felt there was something going on. And it's very clear to you. You can see all these dynamics that are going on, and you feel it very strongly. And some people are so ignorant to this, they can't even see the looks on people's faces, or they can't even feel how their atmosphere has changed. And this is not just for me, this is through conversations with so many clients over the years. They also pick up all of this stuff, and it's incredible that a lot of people are just not attuned to this. And as the saying goes, ignorance is bliss. And it's often the people that are less socially aware that just go through life very happily. They don't think too much, they don't understand what's going on with other people, and that does in some ways lead to a kind of happier life, because they're not open to the overthinking or the anxiety that we experience as social anxiety sufferers. But it's also basically just a form of ignorance and blindness, that they're just not seeing or feeling what is going on. And I also want you to bear in mind that being empathic, sensitive, energetically attuned, and perceptive, these are all things that when you learn to control them in the right way, they can work for you as a tool, just like they work for me now on calls with coaching clients, helping other people through social anxiety. So when you learn to control it and not have it control you, you can use it as a very helpful skill, and it is really your gift which you can use to help other people. So please bear this in mind. If you're going through the struggle with social anxiety, it may be in part because you are just a very perceptive person, very energetically attuned, very empathic, and very aware. Please don't beat yourself up for this. What is causing you problems now, when you learn to control it in an appropriate way, can work for you as a tool and as a skill and a gift. So if this sounds like you and this resonates with you, and you're also a highly sensitive, highly attuned, empathic person, I would love to hear from you. So drop a comment below, and I'll speak to you guys soon.